Hey, everybody. Welcome to Gym Man Girl Talk with Virginia. Today's episode, we are diving into our Q&A Friday. And today, I want to focus on how mindful you are of your fears. How is everyone managing during this COVID time? During this COVID time, which has been like 2.5 to 3 months, the level of anxiety and the symptoms of anxiety have skyrocketed. According to a poll conducted by KFF.org, 50% of there's been a 50% increase of anxiety. And the ones affected the most is the low income household. They have the most impact of anxiety. So today, the reason why I want to focus on that for the Q&A is because both of the questions that I received today, and I greatly appreciate those of you who submitted questions for the Q&A today, but those questions, I bunched them up, and guess what most of them are dealing with? Anxiety related to the COVID. So let's dive in. Anxiety, aka worry, fears, and doubt, are running circles around our lives right now. And so, what you have to do is be mindful of what you're feeling, mindful of those fears, mindful of those worries, mindful of your anxieties. And when you are mindful of them and you address them, then you're more able to deal with them and put some strategies in place so that they won't overtake your life and you still can function the way you need to function. So, the first question is dealing with job security. That's the number one issue we've been dealing with amongst this COVID is that people are concerned about jobs. So you could be in a couple of categories when it comes to job security. One, your job may not be opening again. Number two, it may have taken a long time to open. And now that you're back at work, now you're struggling with catching up with bills and everything. Or number three, your job never shut down, but it's a little shaky because you don't know when they're going to cut back or when they're going to start downloading the workforce because of the level of the economy. The stability of the economy is messing with job security. So, here are some ways that you can manage your insecurities about your job during COVID. Your unemployment, your business, all of that stuff is dealing with job security. Have a plan B. You need to develop a plan B, even though, especially if you're already working or if you're not working, you should have a plan B. That means you should be taking some trainings, looking at some schools online or classes online, some type of professional development, because you don't want to wait until it happens when you lose your job or when you find out you are not able to go back to your job totally. You want to have a plan B in place. You know why? Because the fear and anxiety of job security is coming from the unknown. What you would do next if you lose your job is very important. If you tackle that and you clear out the unknown by having plan B of what will happen if I lose my job or if my job doesn't um, pick back up or if while I'm working, I am cut from my job. If you decrease the fear of the unknown, which is that job security, then you will function better. Your levels of anxiety will decrease, and you will not have so many fears, worries, and doubts because you will have a plan B and you will not be struggling and worrying about the unknown if you lose your job. Right? Great. Perfect. I hope that helped you out about job security. So here's question number two. If you were on episode, let me see, Wednesday, I talked about unforgettable rest and peace. And this next question is a question geared towards what I answered in that episode, which was Wednesday. So I'm going to tell you today a little recap of what I dealt with, what I talked about in Wednesday's show. But I'm going to recap it today. But you can always go back and look at Wednesday's show. It's titled Unforgettable Peace and Rest. So the question was about sleeplessness. So whoever submitted this question was basically wanting to talk about how they're not able to rest at night due to what? Worries, fears, doubts. aka anxiety, amongst this COVID, dealing with all of the issues with COVID. It could be from job security, it could be from family illnesses, it can be just from being uncertain about how the economy or just life in general is going to look post-COVID. And by now, I'm pretty sure everyone thought that we would be in post-COVID, but the truth of the matter is we're still in the midst of COVID. So those anxiety levels are still high because the expectations of how COVID was going to stream out or be solved or decrease is not what we expected. So a lot of people are losing sleep. But the thing is, it's not about the number of hours that you lay in bed, which is sleep, and your eyes are closed and you're, sleeping. The question is, how much rest are you getting? So these are the tips from Wednesday's show, Unforgettable Peace and Rest. Go back and look over it. But number one was that I suggested that you have some gratitude moments. Before you wake up in the morning, think about what you're thankful about. Take some deep breaths in and out. Kind of think about what your normal stressors are and think about how you're going to work through those normal stressors of the day before you even get out of the bed. Showing gratitude and appreciation for what you have, but at the same time, de-stressing and letting out the uncertainties of what you're about to face for today. And so, in other words, you use the good to outweigh the bad. So you lay in bed, you consciously think about your gratitude moments, the things you're grateful for, and think about your stressors of the day. And you use those gratitude moments, the positive things in your life, to overcome and blow out, when you exhale, those stressors. That was tip one for getting sleep, for conquering sleeplessness. In other words, getting more rest. Also, take times out. I know realistically, some jobs don't allow you to take as many breaks as you need, but you have to be strategic about taking frequent breaks, whether you're at work or whether you're at home, because at home you probably have family, kids are out. I think school is over with by now, but they have been there for the past 3-4 months anyway. So now you have to have them for the summer. And so now you have to take frequent breaks, whether it's taking a brisk walk around the neighborhood, going to sit outside in the yard, just breathing in some fresh air, whether it's taking a quick nap, a quick 5 to 10 minute nap to rejuvenate and revigorate your day. Also, be cognizant to be able to clear your conscience. See, some of the times you're not able to sleep at night because you have issues, unresolved issues that's kind of bothering you. So make amends, whether it's amends with yourself for feeling guilty about something, so you need to forgive yourself, whether it's amends with other people who you think have wronged you. And a lot of times right now, going back to question number one, you might feel wronged about your job or how the job is treating you, or maybe bill collectors are not understanding that you're not able to pay your bills at the moment. But you have to forgive yourself and forgive people, especially during these times of uncertainty when everybody, 50% increase, remember that statistic, 50% increase in anxiety. So you have to do things strategically to help decrease your level of anxiety. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to write down your biggest fears related to COVID. I mean, by now you should be journaling out. That's one of the best strategies of getting out your fears, worries, and anxiety is journaling. So today I want you to initiate the beginning of a journal and write down your biggest fear related to COVID. Then once you write down that biggest fear, I want you to write out all of your emotions and feelings related to that big fear. What are you feeling? How is it making you feel? Are you scared, fearful, uncertain? Be as descriptive as possible. And why do we need to write the journal? And what are the benefits of writing the journal about your fears and worries about COVID? It's because when you let it out, you feel better. It's like a breath of fresh air. So when you write those things out, get them out of your mind and put them onto paper, they're no longer consuming your mind and they're out on paper. It's like a breath of fresh air. So Be sure to write out your biggest fear related to COVID, and then write out your emotions and feelings related to how that fear is affecting you, your family, your job, your total lifestyle at all. Get it out of your mind and put it onto paper, and you will feel so much better. It will help you manage a huge percentage of the anxiety that is taking over. Also, a benefit would be to use the resources that are available in your community. A lot of the times, especially with one of the statistics being that low income or most impacted by the COVID, it's hard for them to have access to resources. So you have to find a way to connect with those resources and to be able to use those resources, because there are a lot of resources out there. A lot of times, people just don't want to do a little research, or don't have a way to get to the resources. So, but you have to be strategic to be able to utilize the resources that's available in the community, right? Those are some barriers that a lot of people face, is being able to have access to those resources. So I got another little special today, because today is like a special Q&A. Something just took over me, and like, hey, discuss mindfulness of your fears. So the assignment for sure is going to help you tap into being mindful of your fears and worries and doubts about COVID. But guess what? I have a special treat today. For the first 4 people who DM me their biggest fear, the one that I just asked you to write down and journal about it, about your feelings and emotions, will get $25 cash out. This is going to be my contribution to people to help them have a resource for dealing with the fears, worries, and anxiety that COVID is producing. So guess what? The first 4 people, you can DM me at Prosper Under Pressure, either through Facebook or at Instagram. But the first 4 people will get $25, no strings attached, to help them to feel better, to do whatever you need to do this weekend. Buy some groceries, do some, go do some self-care. Whatever you want to do with it is yours. I want to help you to alleviate some of those worries, fears, and doubts that you have been feeling during COVID, and I want to be one of your resources. So that is it for Girl Talk with Virginia today, our Q&A session of being mindful of your fears. I hope that this has been beneficial to you. I know it has been beneficial to you, and I want you to remain safe and positive, and most of all, use your resources. Get the stuff out of your mind by journaling, and writing out what is bothering you and your fears and anxieties and why. And I want you to just focus on being the healthiest you that you can. Okay? So we have 10 days left of Girl Talk with Virginia Marathon. Today is day 30. So I have decided that for the next 10 days, we're going to have special topics related to anxiety and COVID, related to your worries, fears, and doubts about COVID, what is bothering you, what is keeping you stuck. And as you can see, I didn't tell y'all, but in the background, it's like you have a sneak peek to my little studio over here where I usually do Girl Talk with Virginia. But I had to stand up today because I was so excited about the Q&A and about giving away this first 4 people who DM me their fears, this $25 cash out, because I want to be beneficial to you. So see you tomorrow. The next 10 days is going to be geared towards our special topics of COVID and your fears. So see you soon, and be blessed, be bold, most of all, be a believer. Bye.